Hi, this is Charlie giving you Friday's market commentary, and I hope you're all very well. Just having a look at the euro here to start off with, and although it looks like it's a nice little down move here on a 5 minute chart, but actually on the hourly chart it's barely rolled over on the momentum stakes at the moment. Doesn't mean to say obviously it can't continue through, but I haven't got the momentum on the hourly charts to the downside, and I tend to prefer to trade when I have, but certainly it looks like it will come down and challenge yesterday's lows, which is at least at 133.15, which is not very far away from. But I would rather trade it on the downside if we had that. If we had if we had downside momentum locked in. So a bit of a bitty one here so far this morning. I'm looking at the pound as well. And the pound's actually having a bit of a move up here, so let's have a look on the hourly chart. Let's take this to. So it's had a bit of a move up overnight. Let's zoom out because I had a trend channel on, as you can see, and it's moving quite nicely within that trend channel now. Over the last, okay, I'm going to get to about there. Over the last few days, and so yeah, I see some potential upside with the pound. It's just a case of whether I can find a setup, and so whether I can find a setup on cable. But at the moment, I'm struggling to find anything at the moment, so I'm just having to play a waiting game. One thing I do need to mention is that we have. I've got something really exciting coming out. We usually bring out a new product, once a year or so, and it's usually in January. It's always nice to bring out something new then. And I know obviously we're not in January anymore, but I've been working on this for a long time, and so we launch stuff when we feel it's right to launch it, and we feel that we've got the right product and everything else. And I would have to say, at the moment, I feel I've got something which is possibly the best piece of work we've ever done. But then again, why would I not say that? But it really is exceedingly good for day traders and for swing traders. It moves with the markets, it adapts to the markets, and so anyway, I won't say too much more than that at the moment. But as far as consistency is concerned, it's a bit like the old race between the tortoise and the hare, and it is the tortoise. So it won't be making you hundreds of points every trade, but what it will do is give you a lots of consistency. So high success rates and nice, easy, small wins, but incremental, and they all add up. And so, and it depends. You can trade it on different time frames. The nice thing is that it's based on time, and so you don't have to be looking at it the way that I may be trading here on these Friday morning updates, where you're having to look at other factors and to decide when to exit trades and so on and so forth. It is based on time, so you only have to look at it at certain times. So anyway, that will be coming at some point. We're over the next, I guess, over the next month. We do, as always, Kim and I have got a lot on our plate, but I will be looking to get that launched in the next. I guess in the next month, and we'll give you more information on it obviously as we go forward. So, but we have got something pretty brilliant coming up. So we've actually got a couple of different products coming up, but this one's the sort of main one, and so yeah, I'm quite excited about it. But well, once we're ready and I've got the time to get it all put together onto CDs and all of that stuff, then we'll get that launched. But anyway, in the meantime, we're looking for trades here this morning. So. Let's go back to that euro, because euro was getting ever closer to that. Let's have a look. Euro. Where's it gone on my list here? There it is. Getting ever closer to yesterday's lows, and let's see if there is anything I can do. Okay, let's press pause and we'll wait. Okay, just back. It's now 20 past 9. I've got a trade set up on cable, but it's based on a higher time frame. It's a much slower type of trade, so I'm just going to set it up now. So let's get the old ticket across. So I put 4 units in. Let's quickly get these in, because there we go. I've been up getting ready and stuff. So it doesn't matter too much about price because this is a bigger time frame trade. Right. Okay. So there's the 4 units in. Let's bring up the trade doobie. Right. So there's the 4 in. just got into it's coming down a little bit, doesn't matter too much. So let me just have a look off screen what sort of stop I need to use. So I use a specific strategy on a hourly chart. So let's have a look. Yeah, okay, so I need to use a 22 pip stop. So okay, and I need to use, okay, right, so we need to put the stops and targets in. This is one that I just leave, so it's not one that needs managing. So what time price are we getting at? 155.32, wasn't it? So 155.02. No, 155 dead, isn't it? Right, okay, 155. And the stop on this one is 40 pips. So 155. What are we getting at? 32. So 72. So we'll do it on half of that. So 2 units we'll do that. So 155.00 and then 155.72, and then on a quarter we still have the same stop in initially, 155.00, and then I have a 60-point target, so 72, so that's 92, 55.92.0, and then on the final one I have same stop again, and then I have an 80-point target, which gives us 12. Yes, right, okay, so 156.12. So I don't really have to do much with this setup, and so that's not really, there's not really much day trading per se in that. We'll just see what happens with that one. But I'm actually looking at euro at the moment as a day trade. So for now, we'll leave that one alone. Now I don't know. I need to get this video update done and completed by 11:30 today. So we'll come back to cable later on and see how that gets on. But whatever happens, I'll have to have this video update wrapped by 11:30. Now the euro is the one that I'm looking at because I'm looking for a band play. So as we come up to the upper band up here at some point, we're looking to trade that. So for now, I'll press pause in a sec. Just quickly look at the daily charts because do some sort of analysis. Remember, probably when I last looked at the markets, we were probably over here before I went skiing. I was talking about us potentially having a throw over and rolling over, and that's exactly what we did. And I think it was the same on the euro yen. I remember actually, I put that's right because I was putting in a short, wasn't I, on the euro yen and looking for it to come back to the lower band and lower trend channel, and look what it's done. But I couldn't go away and then try and manage the trade while I was away, so I remember I had to close that trade, which was very forgetful of me, but to have taken the trade in the first place and not remembered I'd done that. But yes, anyway, we've come back into the trend channel. So on the daily charts, the potential is there for a channel break at some point. We've got a nice trend channel. It's a fairly narrow trend channel, which would lend itself to a break, and so we'll see about that over the coming days. So definitely keep your eye on that for the euro yen and the euro dollar. It's not quite down there yet, so look to see if that can get down to its trend channel line as well. So it's probably a little bit more weakness in these. So back to the daily intraday chart, 15-minute chart. I'm just going to press pause because I'm waiting to see if we're going to come up to this white line and set up for a trade. Okay, so I'm still looking for this euro dollar here. It's so just after 9:30. Well, I've just been stopped out already on that cable, so I've lost on cable trade. So minimise that for now. But one of the I put that trade on. What time was it? 9:15 or whatever it was, and I'd forgotten that we had retail sales out. But really, I would have still taken that anyway, even if I'd have paid attention to the news, because it was based on a higher time frame with a 20-point stop. Usually, that one's it's a reasonably good strategy, that one. So, yeah, cable's having a real thrust down. Actually, let's have a look at it. Cable. It's really thrusting down. I can't get in on cable at the moment, but it's having a really good thrust down. It's interesting cable though, because it's still got positive momentum on the hourly charts. And that's why I was on the long side. That was part of the reason, but it was a specific setup based on an hourly time frame. Still got positive momentum, but look at this rolling over. So we'll keep our eye on that. But if it starts to bounce, then I would still stay a little bit curious as to whether that's actually going to just turn around and come all the way back up again, maybe a bit later. But at the moment, I'm just keeping my eye on this euro dollar and seeing if we're going to get some. Okay, so I'm looking at cable here, and it's had this big jump down, but it's got a big divergence on the higher time frames, and I'm just suspicious that this is actually With the positive momentum, this is actually just a thrust down after the news. So I'm going to actually take some longs here. I'll put a stop down about 65 and just see if I can we can get a bit of see if we can get a couple more entries in. There's one more. Let's see if we can get 4 entries in again. Just in case this is a bit of a thrust down. Oh, like I say, we've had a big volume here, down here at the lows, and it's just held on so far. I mean, it may just thrust down again, it could do, but I think it's worthwhile to go with the big divergence there and the positive momentum that this could just be a news-based flush. It's flushed down, just briefly taken out yesterday's lows, and then come back up again. So that's what I'm basing that on. So it could just be a flush, and in actual fact we're going to come back up. So I've got 3 in, but it looks like I missed out on getting the fourth entry in so far. And I mean, I won't be playing it for. I'll take some off if we come up to some resistance levels, but we'll just see how we get on. But I'll press pause for now. Okay, it's just coming down a little bit, so maybe coming down to do a divergence. So I'll put that final stake in a second. I only got 3 stakes in, so I'll look to get that final stake in, and see if we can. This is going to work out. Stop's only down at 64 anyway, so we'll see if we can get that final stake in. Okay, let's just put it in here at 77 rather than me, just in case it doesn't come down for the little divergence. It's only on a 2-minute chart anyway, but at least I'll just get it in. So let's get the stop in. 154, 64.0. Right. Okay. So now I've got all entries in and the stops in at 64. So we'll just see how this is going to play out. Okay, been stopped out on that one as well. So getting close actually, but 1900 down now for the day. So I'm not going to be able to do too much because I've always said I'll only keep it to about 2000 down on any one particular day. But it's because I was trading a bigger time frame trade with that other one with 20-point stop. Excuse me. I'll keep our eye on these anyway. I'll have another look here. This one is 10 to 10, and so I've got until 11:30. But at the moment, it looks like I may just have to call it. May not get another trade. There you go. So there's the total loss there. So let's bring this off. So obviously not what you ever want to have, but it's just part and parcel of trading. I'm seeing divergences here. I'm seeing positive momentum. I'd love to be long again, but I can't do it off a tiny little 2-minute divergence. But it could play out, and this could gradually start to eke its way back up. We've got positive momentum in the background, remember, and a bigger divergence on the 4-hourly time frames as well. So it's certainly possible, but I don't like keeping on having to try divergence plays. I've given it a bit of a try with down here, and so I'll just press pause for now and have a look across the time frames. Okay, I'm looking at cable again here, and because obviously this is the one that's lost me today. But sometimes you're looking at something and you think, okay, am I wrong, or is it just the analysis, or just probabilities just not worked out on this occasion? But yeah, I'm looking at it. It's done this little divergence down here. It's got the big divergence on the hourly 4-hourly time frame. We've got positive momentum on the hourly time frame. This came as a result of news information, and without the momentum in the background on the higher time frame, I still suspect that this is actually just going to roll up. That's what I'm looking for anyway. So I'll actually put a couple in as we can pull back down to the lower bands here, and then put my stops below the lows, and see if this is just going to just mess its way around, but ultimately come up higher again. It'll take a lot of work now because it's damaged a little bit. But the 15-minute, we've got a doji on the 15-minute time frame, so technically there's a bit of damage there, but we're still positive on the momentum. So I'm just going to see if we can still play this out and roll back up again. But it's going to take probably all day. So we'll see. I've got an hour and a half to go. So see if we can get an entry in here first, and then we'll take it from there. So I'll press pause for a sec. Okay, so we're getting close now, so looking to see if we can get some entries in. We're coming down close to the lower band. It's 10:03 a.m, so we've got just over a minute to go. So again, I'm not going to get too fussy over exact prices, but if we can get down into the 76s, then I'll start to initiate. Looks like I'm going to have to press pause again because it was about to go, and I'll press pause. Okay, I've got them in now anyway. I've just put them in. So I've got 4 entries in. So I'll bring the deal ticket over. There we go. show it. There we go. So we've got the 4 entries in. So we got some decent enough prices there in the end anyway. And so it's now just a case of seeing how this is going to play itself out. What I'm going to do is play the long game on this, and just especially in light of the 2 losses I've had, so I have a bigger view on cable here anyway, so rather than, I could technically just take some profit out when we come up to certain levels and stuff, but I'm just going to play the long game and just leave it to run probably most of the day. So it'll be interesting for you to see where we end up by the end of the day. So I've got in at 154.75.6 area and 7 area I think as well, an 8 area, so I've just got a few entries in there. And so now it's a case of, okay, well, coming out to the hourly chart, I'm going to be looking to just hold this for the day really, and I'm going to be out most of the day, so I'm going to just look to hold it and see if it can come all the way back up, and see if it can ultimately come back up to this morning's highs, and see if it will then break out. So I'm just going to leave it as a trade which may actually just play itself out over the much longer time frame, and see if that'll run, and if it does, then it'll make up pretty much all of the losses that I've had this morning. If it runs for that far, and it needs to run for 40 pips, so by the time it gets up to 155.20, I'd already be in profit for the day, remember. So it doesn't need to move that far, and I'll already be in profit. But I'm not even going to be too fussed about taking profit. I might take something off there, maybe take half off when we get to there, but really trying to run it if it does start to move. But like I said, I'm going to be out all day. I can log into my account while I'm out in London, but in the main, I'm going to be looking to see if I can run this. So I've got my 4 entries in. Take that off now, and we'll see if we can just get this to run, and if it does, then we've had 3 4 entry trades today. The first one lost 20 pips, the second one lost less than 20 pips, about 14 pips or whatever it was. Let's have a look. The entries were in around about, where were they? 78s and 78s, 77s, 79s, and came out at 64, wasn't it? So it stopped me out at 63 or so. So yeah, about 14 pips or so. So if we run up to that 155.20 zone, I'd already be in profit for the day. So we'll just see. So I'm going to pop out for a bit now anyway, and I'll come back and we'll finish this commentary before I have to leave properly for the day, and see how we go and review then. So it could be a very interesting one, and see if we can get a profit. It's a shame. I mean, I guess I could leave the software on, and when I come back later, early this evening, send this out to you. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I should do that rather than me just sending this out to you and not knowing what actually happens. So that's what we'll do. But anyway, for now, I'll press pause. Okay, so let's have a look at this. It's just coming up to 20 to 11, and as you can see, the cable is coming up, and my suspicions, by the looks of things, are serving to be correct. Lack of no downside momentum on the hourly chart, divergences on the higher time frames. Just got caught really there. I put my stop in at 64. It's a shame on that one, but anyway, so it's coming back up. So we're back up at 155.02, and on the higher time frames, remember I'd seen that we'd put in a doji at that point when I got back in, and we've now also on the 30-minute chart put a bull harami in and things like that. But it's still got a lot of work to do, because overall we've got some technical damage on some of the medium-term time frames, like the 15-minute chart here, and so really this should react here and maybe even come back down a little bit. But I'm going to leave that. If it's going to do that, so be it. I'm just going to leave it for now, and see what happens. But let's go back and have a look at the count as we're sitting here right now. So here's the 4 positions, and that's what we're back to currently. Now remember, I'm not looking to do anything until we get to at least 155.20, which we'll be back into profit. But really, and I'll still have to decide what to do at that point anyway. I might take one position off, but I really am looking for this to come all the way back up. So I don't really want to take too much off, and we'll see. We actually could end up with quite a half decent profitable day today. So if my suspicions are correct. But having said that, it's got a lot of work to do. We've got on the 5-minute chart, as you can see, we've got a downward sloping 21 moving average. And so I think that we could just be about to back off. Now I could put a hedge in right now and just look to trade the downside slightly. So I could put in a small position. I wouldn't go complete as a complete hedge. I'll put 2 in, and see if we back off a little bit. But running on, as far as time's concerned, I'm conscious that I'm going to have to leave shortly, so we'll see how that goes on the short. And let's bring the deal tickets up for that. So here's the two positions on that short. So I'll give it a little bit of slack. Entries at 4.04. We'll just see if that's going to play out for us, or if it's going to carry on going up. But obviously, if I lose on the short, then that eats into the gains that I'm making on the upside. That's hence why I've only just put 2 in. So anyway, we'll see how that goes just over the next 10 minutes or so. Press pause. So it's just in this position still at the moment, and within these bands. So on these two shorts, so obviously still in the long overall. I'm going to keep it fairly tight, because if this overall fails on this, I don't want to just and then take even a 10 pip loss on this. So I'm going to keep it fairly tight, and if we come up to 10, then I'll cut it. So that'll be about 6 pip loss on those 2 entries, because normally I'd give it more slack, but considering where we've been today and everything else and what I'm trying to achieve on the long side, then I'm going to keep this one fairly tight. So we'll just see how it goes for the next few minutes. So I've just changed time frames down to a 5-minute chart. I'm going to take one of these little hedged shorts that I put in off if we come down to the 5-minute bands. And so if we come down to there, then I'll take that one off, and then I'll just see if we can get a little bit more on the second bit. But just as I've pressed unpause, it's blipped back up again, so I'll press pause again. Okay, so it's getting there. So just do another little blip, and I think that'll be about there for the first target on this. Very small stuff, but might as well have put it in. It was at resistance, and I've done a trade before on a Friday update, and not taken a hedge when I could have done, and so I think we're nearly there. So I see a blip. There we go, 97.8. That'll do it. So that's just done the band there on the 5-minute chart. Let's now take it back to that 15-minute chart time frame, because it should want to come down to the lower band. So it should want to come down to 90. So what I'll do now is I'll move the stop down to break even, so that whatever happens, I don't lose on this element of the trade. So let's just quickly do that. Let's get that done. So I'm clicking on this 155.040. So I've just done it off screen, right? So I've got the stop down on this element. So sometimes because you're playing a bigger play, which I'm trying to play to the upside, and then you see, well, yeah, okay, but that's still going to take some time. It's just hit a load of resistance here. Well, at the same time, see if it's going to work out for some points on the downside, whilst I'm waiting for that bigger play to work itself out. So I've taken whatever I took there, about 7 pips. Was it 7 pips? What price did I buy it back at? So bring the orders over. So I was in at 04.2, yeah, and at 97. So yeah, we'll call it 98, just under. So yeah, and not even that. So about 6 pips, isn't it? On that one, and we'll just see if I can get anything more for this other half, and then ultimately still looking for this to then roll up. So if it does, it means I've made a few points on the downside here, as well as points if it does come back up on the upside. So it's but if it comes all the way down, then some of these gains will then offset the losses if it was to come all the way down and stop me out, because it stops down below the lows. So in a way that it helps. Actually, I haven't moved my stop up actually yet. The stop's still down at 60. Let's have a look what my stop's at. 60. So, and the lows were at about 6.4, something like that. 6.4, something like that. So, oh yeah, it's about right actually. So okay. So we're just now waiting to see if we come down to the lower band, then I'll just close this one out, and then hopefully that this is going to then roll back up again later on, and we're going to build for, we're just coming up to 11 AM and build for more upside a bit later. So I'll press pause for a second. Okay, so we're just coming down towards that lower band. So it's going to be around about 14, 15 pips or so, I guess. So just over $200 on this element. And obviously we've taken some off of the other element, but obviously you've still got the other four increments, which I'm long from at 76. So here we go. So close position, yeah, that'll do it. Okay, about there. So about 16 pips had there, but hopefully what I'm looking for is for this not to roll over completely. I want to hold the lows, so that the overall long builds again later. So taken some points out there. Was it 6 points on one and 16 on the other, and and now it's just a case of hopefully this is going to not completely roll over, and it's going to roll back up later on as we go through the day as I head off to London. And in which case that means that if we do start coming up, that by the time we get to 20 I'm going to be in a lot more profit because of the gains I've just had on this short side. So we'll see. So I'll press pause for now. This could be the last recording bit I record. Actually no, I'll do a little bit more just before I head off, and then we'll wrap this up when I get back tonight. Okay, so I'm just back. It is now 7:25, so I've been out in London, like I said, most of the day. And let's take this out to a 15-minute chart then, and have a look and see what's happened. So let's remind ourselves, this was the area down here this morning, got those stop outs. We came up, we took that short trade here, which ran down to the lower band, and I can see it came down a little bit lower, but never took out the stop, obviously down at the lows. And then it's gradually grounded its way higher. Now I put limits orders in at 30 and at 40, but I've still left two of those 4 positions in. So let's bring the account over. So from being £2,000 down, so we're now sitting in open positions and in profit of 330, but we're still in open positions. So there's those 2 positions. Remember we had that batch of 4 there, and as you can see, we had hello. Oh, that was these shorts, wasn't it? These were these 2 shorts that I put in earlier this morning, and then here's we got sold out at 155.30, 155.40, so some nice profits there from those two of those positions, and we're currently in 2. So it's a case of okay, well, what do I want to do? It's 7:25 on a Friday evening, but nothing's really changed. I'm just looking at my higher time frame charts, and I still feel that this has got some pretty decent potential for on the upside, at least to come back up to those highs again. I mean, when you think about it, when we were back up at 40, I would have been up on the account around about, if we're at 22 now, I'm up 329. I don't know, what's that? About another 200. Yeah, about another 200 on that, but it would have been about 500 or 600 quid. But obviously, I'm looking at this as a bigger time frame thing, and we're going to see if this is going to work through to Monday. So what I'm going to do is just leave this position open, and we'll catch up with it on Monday morning's update. And so that's what we'll do. Because nothing's changed, I've been looking at that bigger time frame. Good job I've been out all day, because it's been, as you can see, it's taken a long time to get going, and obviously it had that nice run up. But again, just coming back, so that means that although I lost 2,000 initially in those 2 trades, I've made back more than 2,000 on just 1 trade, and that's the difference. Oh, sorry, no, I had that small two position trade here, but made back. But even so, that was 8 individual positions which I lost on from this morning, and I've been in 6 positions, 2 of which were here, and we're in 4 on the long side, which have so far anyway been making more money. So even if it rolls over and stops me out, at least you'll get to see that if you can run your winners as much as you run your losers, or you know what I mean, or more than you run your losers. Remember, I had a 20-point stop out and about a 16-point stop out, and now we're up what's that, about 40 points from where I entered. And so it just goes to show that if you do that, then you'll be in profit. I could just close the position right now. It's there, so I found it. I could be in the position right now, or close the positions right now, and say, okay, it's been a bit of a whirlwind trading day, but I didn't see it that way. And Kim wrote a really good article for the newsletter subscribers at the beginning of February, which talked about having patience, and this is one of those trades whereby coming out to an hourly chart, if we can do that, coming out to an hourly chart, I think that having patience is the name of the game. And so and the patience to hold on to that trade when you can see a bigger move at play. So I'll hold this, we'll see how it gets on into Monday, and on Monday's video update we'll give you an update on this, really. So it's going to be difficult to figure out. I need to figure out how much I've made, because obviously this is an open position, and the losses that are factored into this won't be there on Well, we banked £2,000 in losses, and we've cleared out, and we've only got two positions in at the moment. So let's just figure this out. Hold on, I'll press pause. Right, so it looks like it's around about minus 500. So we'll remember this for Monday. Minus 500 if that's based on us being at 155.20. Let's call it at the moment. So if that's a minus 500. So on Monday, if we open up and I'm up 800, then all that means is that net I'm up about, well, obviously if I'm up 800, it means that I'm net up 300 on Monday morning. That's how I've calculated it. So based on the positions that have already been closed, we're up, we're down minus 500, but we're still in this position. And obviously, if I was to close it out right now, then we'd have that £300 gain, so it'd be a £300 gain for the day. But as I'm not doing that, it's minus 500 of banked losing trades with an open position of plus 800. That's essentially what it is. So we'll see how this goes into next week. But whatever, it looks good so far. And I'm hoping that we can get a bit of a run on this cable trade, so we'll have a nice run into next week, which would be nice. So I shall leave that with you, and have a great weekend.